healing the loss of choice after trauma. So many fairy tales and stories you've read have a theme of a person who was born without knowing their true worth and true power, someone who maybe was royalty, and maybe they knew, but then they lost it for a while, like in The Lion King when Simba runs away and he starts living off in the wilderness. He kind of forgets who he is. He forgets his true power and true calling as a king. And there's so many other examples where someone will really be a princess or a queen in high power and she'll go out around the commoners. And then there may be an opportunity that arises for her to use her power to stand up against injustice. And then it's like this very powerful moment. And sometimes there's people who don't even know their power. They're born in poverty or to modest families, not realizing that they actually, by blood, are royalty. And this is the exact, Anastasia, or however you pronounce that. That's one of the movies that has that theme. Yeah. But this is the exact story of you as a trauma survivor because you are going through life unaware, unawakened to your true power and potential. So, a part of healing is getting in touch with your actual power and your true potential, your true worth, which is the highest worth a human could have. Your true power and potential, which is virtually unlimited. And you are actually very powerful, but you get disconnected from this power. You get disconnected from your ability to make choices because you may have become a people pleaser. And chronic people pleasing is fawn response, which is like fight, flight, freeze. It's a survival mechanism so as to make sure everyone feels satiated so that you can feel safe and you can be safe. That's people pleasing. So when we're in chronic people pleasing, we're just saying yes to everyone all the time when we want to say no. So we may override our own wants, desires, needs to avoid conflict or to prioritize other people's wants, desires, needs, and comfort. And it keeps being to our own detriment. We'll find ourselves basically crying at night when no one can see us because we're actually desperate and sad. But we emote throughout the day like we have a mask on, trying to please everyone and keep everyone happy. That's people pleasing. That's not being in touch with your true power, with who you really are and your potential, your rightful place. Some of us have indecision or analysis paralysis. So you find it difficult to make big decisions. Even small decisions could be challenging. You could find yourself just in the peanut butter aisle, frozen. Which one should I choose? There's so many different options. I'm not sure which one's going to be the most healthy for me, what's going to be the best for me. And this analysis paralysis keeps you from actually making the choice. And you feel disconnected from your ability to make wise decisions, disconnected from your trust in yourself, disconnected from confidence in yourself. It's like you don't know who you are. Indecision. What if I get it wrong? What if I fail? What if everyone sees my failure? And so you find yourself not trusting yourself to take actions. Do you trust yourself to make choices? Another example of this is learned helplessness. That's the mm, why try? It's no use. There's nothing I can do to really affect change or to change my life. And so we don't believe in our own ability and our own power because we are disconnected from who we truly are, from how powerful we truly are. What area in life makes you feel hopeless? Could be that you're in learned helplessness. Then there's staying in unsafe and toxic relationships, which every person with borderline personality disorder clings on to their abuser and they don't want to let go. And so, no matter how many therapists after therapists say you really got to disconnect from this toxic person, they just keep going back. They might disconnect for a minute, but they keep going back. They say, I can't leave. They need me, or I need them. And this is codependency where they don't believe that they can just be their own autonomous individual person. They feel like they have to be connected to, tied to this abuser. They feel like their healing is going to come from talking to this abuser, working it out with their abuser, their neglector. So they keep going back, trying to just make something happen. When in reality, nothing good is ever going to come out of that person. That person is just a source of toxicity, neglect, instability, and you find yourself sacrificing your own needs for the peace of the relationship. So if we stay in toxic, unsafe relationships, that's another great example of not knowing who we are. And in these movies, in these stories, a lot of times there's that aspect of trying to get the person to recognize, hey, come on, we got to go. This is not your true home. This is not your true life. And the person is still attached to their old life, to their old way of being. And they hang on to it and they want to stay there. For many, they've lost connection to their desires and their wants. You ask them, what do you want? And they say, you know what? I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what I want. When was the last time you did something just because you truly wanted to, not because you had to or because you were impelled to, but just because it was your desire? So we'll talk about how to get back in touch with our wants. And for some of us, we're just repeating the past. We're not in touch with who we truly are. We're not in touch with our true power. We just keep saying, why does this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? It just keeps happening to me. And it feels like life is actually just happening to you. And you feel stuck in a pattern. Do you feel stuck in a pattern right now? Or sometimes we feel responsible for other people's feelings. Well, if they're upset, then that means I did something wrong. It's another codependent way of thinking. That means you're not in touch with your personal power, with who you really are, because you feel responsible for other people's emotions. You're not taking responsibility for your own sense of self, autonomy, and personal experience. So, affirmation, call and response. I'll give you the affirmation. You repeat this. My choices matter. My choices matter. I can say no. I can say no. I can say yes. I can say yes. I am safe to decide for myself. I am safe to decide for myself. I am the best person to make decisions in my life. Do you agree with that? Do you think you're the best person to make decisions for your own life? When you think about it, would you really want to hand over all control and all autonomy, every single decision, which there's thousands of decisions that you make every day? Would you really want to hand that over to another human? Is there another human on earth that you can think of who you would want to make every one of your decisions? If your answer is yes, that's unhealthy. You wouldn't want another person to make all your decisions. In fact, you would be the very best person to make the decisions for yourself because you are the one person on this planet who understands you. And we spend so much time looking outside of ourselves for someone to understand us and going into relationships hoping that someone's going to care about us and connect with us and love us and see us. We just want to be seen. We just want to be heard by someone else. But the reason why you feel that way is because you don't listen to you, because you don't see you. When you recognize that you are the one who truly sees yourself, you are the one who truly understands yourself, then you can look to the one true source for understanding. It's you. It's not going to come from someone else. Does that make sense? So in your notes, you can write down, if I believed my choices mattered, I would what? If you believed your choices truly mattered, you would what? If you knew who you truly were, if you were in touch with your true power, you would what? What would be different? What would you do differently if you understood your true power? Let's awaken to the understanding of our true power, of who we truly are. This is our moment now to do just that. Let's awaken to realizing who we actually are. All of us here have something very special besides our intrinsic worth, which is, if we had to rate it on a scale of 10, is a 10 out of 10. Besides your intrinsic worth that you're born with, and it doesn't matter, by the way, how your mother treated you, still born with your intrinsic worth. It doesn't matter how other people treated you, how society treated you. You're still born with your intrinsic worth. It doesn't matter how anyone treated you, what they did to you, what they took from you. You're still born with your intrinsic worth. But besides that, you have something very special called free will. Free will. Now, many people in universities like to debate this concept, and they say things like, you don't have free will, people don't have free will. And then they'll cite examples like um, a drug addict can't easily get off drugs. So, that's proof that you don't have free will. But obviously, that's a weak example because there are many people who face very serious addictions and have somehow been able to bring themselves off of these addictions. But besides, an addiction doesn't prove that we don't have free will. Free will needs to be understood. It means that you are not a computer program. You are not running according only to instinct. It means that you have this extra ability above your programs and instincts to make choices. It means you have the ability to make choices. Your ability to make choices, your ability to decide, your ability to judge is your free will. It is synonymous with consciousness. Your free will is synonymous with consciousness. To be a conscious being on the level that humans are conscious means that we have a freedom to judge, to decide how we will interpret something, how we will perceive something. Our free will is actually very profound. And when you're not in touch with that free will, then you're not in the healed state. But when you are in touch with that free will, then you can awaken the executive function. Because you can start to realize, besides just my feelings, I can decide to go against my own feelings. I have free will. Your free will is so profound that you can even move forward in life without knowing or being able to predict your own actions, even though you're the one making the choices. For instance, just simply, you can pick up an object like a pencil or something that you have on your desk or nearby, and you can hold it up like you're about to drop it. And you can determine for yourself, okay, am I going to drop this or am I not going to drop this? You can try to predict what you're going to do and when you're going to do it, but you can also suddenly drop your pencil faster than you can consciously predict it because your free will is that profound. And you can sit there and play this game with yourself like, no, no, yeah, no, I'm not, and keep going back and forth between your prediction and your action and your prediction and your action, deciding what you're going to do and when you're going to do it because you have a profound free will. So you can take this ability to decide that goes so extreme that you can actually say you can go faster than your own predictions And you can decide to do anything. So if we start small, you can utilize the vision in your head and create a sandwich or a wrap that you would make in your kitchen and decide like what ingredients you would put together. You kind of might think about what you might have in the house and how you put it together. It could be as simple as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or just a peanut butter sandwich. You have the ability to make that vision come to fruition, do you not? You're so profound in your power that even if you don't have the ingredients in your house, you could go out into the world outside of your home and source these ingredients. You could find them and bring them home and create this sandwich that you have in your imagination. That is profound. Does anyone here disagree that they have the ability to do that? No. Is that just mere instinct or emotion? Is it predicted ahead of time? No. You can abandon and abort the mission unpredictably at any time. You can stop halfway through and just eat the sandwich like that. Or you could stay on it and keep on trying to perfect the sandwich beyond the point where it would even make sense because you're incredibly powerful and you're free. And let's take it a step further because it's easy for us to picture making a sandwich. It's harder for us to picture being able to move out of the house of our toxic abuser. But you technically have that ability. Just like you can go out and you can source ingredients for your sandwich, you can go out and you can find your own income and you can get an ID and a bank account for yourself that no one else is looking at and get your own phone and one step after another step until you have your own shelter. You could do it. You have the ability, the profound ability to separate yourself from those who are toxic in your life. Some of us already live independently. Congratulations, by the way. That's probably why you're progressing so fast in your healing. And for those of you that don't live away from your toxic abusers, that's probably why it's taking so long for you to heal. Right. But for those of you who are already living independently, you still may need to separate or disconnect from certain toxic people in your life. It can be moms, dads, brothers, and sisters that live in a whole nother place, but you still stay mentally and emotionally tied to them. You can use your free will to break that tie. You can do the devaluations list. Write down eight reasons why the relationship is untenable, why it wouldn't work with them, what you don't like about them. It helps to bring them down in your mind so that they're not overvalued or idealized, so that you're not overly attached to them. And it makes it easier to detach, be able to let go. It's hard for us to detach from what we value because what we value is the identity. What you value is who you are. So that's why when you value a person so much, you can't seem to let them go. So we have to do devaluation to help our mind to realize that's not us. That's a whole different person. We got to let them go. Sometimes we have to do that with our own adult children. It seems wrong, but it's necessary because we don't want to be stuck in a codependent relationship or stopping our adult child from being able to individuate. Which, by the way, if you have adult children that have grown up and you're not particularly close to them, it doesn't mean you've failed as a parent. In fact, the fact that that child is able to individuate and become independent could be a sign that you did a good job as a parent, right? You have the ability to choose a perception that's beneficial. This is one of the most important things in healing. What a lot of survivors do is they go with the feelings first. Well, I feel sad about this, so therefore I'll be sad. Well, I feel like I should feel sad about this, so therefore I feel sad. I feel lonely. There's no people around. I feel lonely. I had to cut people off to heal. Now I feel lonely. Healing is so lonely. Huh. I feel so sad today. It's a bad day because it started off bad. Therefore, it's a bad day. You're just following the feelings through life. This is how you self-sabotage. Oh, I didn't get anything done because I got lazy and I got tired. You're self-sabotaging because you just follow feelings. You're not in touch with your executive function, your ability to be the driver, to be the person who's running the show, the coach, the pilot. So we want to step into that frame. I am the pilot. I am the pilot. I'm not the passenger. I'm the pilot. Okay. So what does the pilot do when there's a storm? They say, oh man, now there's going to be turbulence. Forget it. And sit back in his pilot chair and let go of the steering wheel. And then the co-pilot says, sir, did you want me to take over? And the pilot says, I don't see what the point is. There's going to be turbulence now. We're going into a storm. Forget it. I'm not going to try, and I don't see why you should either. Does the pilot get on the loudspeaker and say to the passengers on board, oh, passengers, this doesn't look good at all. We're going into a storm, and who knows how bad this is going to be. I'm done. Like, I'm done up here. I'm not going to try. Like, at this point, like, this storm, like, you're not seeing it the way I'm seeing it. Like, it is terrible out there. It just looks so bad. So, I'm not going to sit here and try to do anything about it. Whatever happens, happens with this storm. So who knows? Hopefully we get through it. But of course, on my flight, it would have to be some kind of storm like this. So, anyways, is that what, right? You're the pilot, right? That's what you guys would be saying. You'd be like, you're the pilot. What are you talking about? Right? The storm represents our emotions in this illustration. You are the pilot. What will you be? Will you be that type of pilot to communicate with yourself and the rest of your body and say, we just have to go with the storm. There's a storm. Oh, well, there's a storm. Or do you decide to navigate it, to hold on to the wheels or the steering wheel rather and say to your co-pilot, okay, there's a storm and we're going to have to weather this. So let's adjust our altitude. Let's try to keep it as steady as we can. And you come on with confidence. Don't you want to hear your pilot come on with confidence and say, just so you know, folks, we are headed through a storm. There's going to be some turbulence, but it's nothing you have to worry about. It'll last for about 20 minutes. The fasten your seatbelt sign is on overhead. We'd ask that you stay seated while we're getting through this. It will be temporary, but don't be alarmed at all by the bumps. It's totally normal through a storm. And I'll be back on once that fasten the seatbelt sign is off. You can feel free to rove about the cabin. Right? That's what you want to hear. That guy's in control. He's got it handled, right? That's how you should talk to yourself. Instead of, I'm sad. Oh, well, it's a bad day. You go, I'm feeling a little bit of sadness right now, but that's okay. We're going to weather the storm. We just got to find out what the value is that's being violated here. There's probably something that I'm thinking about that I see, oh, I think I'm a little bit sad because such and such moved away. But that's okay. I just got to change my perspective on the situation. And I think if I change my perspective to something that's more beneficial to myself, such as I'm a good parent and that's why they moved away, or it's okay because all situations, relationships are temporary and I'm going to be just fine. And now let me focus on my purpose. Okay, my purpose is that I'm going to go out and be a beacon of light to people who need hope and help those who are oppressed and abused. And yeah, I'm going to go to work right now and start doing this. And I got volunteer work right after that. I am on my stuff right now. Today is a good day. And then you go in the mirror and you comb your hair and you brush your teeth. And today is a good day. Yeah, right? What's happening? It's the executive function. I'm taking the position of the pilot. That's how you talk to yourself. Don't tell your passengers, your body, that, oh, we're just going to give in. Sorry. No, no, no. You say, hey, we're going through something right now, but we're going to move ourselves through this. You step into the executive function. Okay? I am the pilot. That's your affirmation for yourself. I am the pilot. That's the new belief. That's the new approach that you take. I'm the pilot. I control the ship. I'm not a passenger in my life. So, yes, we will feel storms. You will feel it. There's going to be some turbulence at times, but it's nothing, you don't allow that to define you. Does that make sense? You don't allow that to define you. You make the decisions. If you can make a sandwich from a vision in your head, from a craving, then you can also move away from your toxic abuser Then you can also choose perceptions that are beneficial, therefore alter your mood state. You get to decide. You can decide how much time you will spend on grieving a relationship or a death in the family. You can decide how you will focus on your purpose and what you will achieve next after you've already achieved your goals. You have the ability to decide this. You're creative. You're making things. You have power. You have creative power. Does that make sense? Do you feel powerful? Just like with Simba, the key, I mean, when he was out in the jungle, you realize he's still the rightful king, right? It made no difference. It's not like he's not the rightful king while he was with Timon and Pumbaa. He still is. But mentally, he needed to recognize his power. So he's like, you are the king. Now go to Pride Rock. Now step up into place. Now defeat Scar. Okay, right? You got to recognize who you are. You need to stand in your position of power. That's what we got to do now. That is all that's stopping you from recognizing your rightful place as a king or a queen. Step into your position. That's all. You already are it. You already are this powerful being that's made in the image of God and this ability to create. You're already all that. So just step up into that position. Take your throne. That's all that's left. Take your throne. You can decide who you'll be, how you'll be. As I mentioned, with wants, sometimes we feel like we don't know what we want. Listen carefully if you're one of those people. Wants are a choice. Wants are a choice. That's all. That's all. You don't have everything is not a feeling. You don't have to feel the want all the time. You just make a choice. Just make a choice. So when it comes to your purpose, like what your goals are, well, I don't want anything. That's okay. Make a choice. That's all. Just make a choice. What do you think is going to be the most beneficial thing you can do for yourself and others over the next 3 to 600 days? With the power you have, with the resources you have, make a choice and go after it. It's okay if it's wrong. There's really no such thing as right and wrong. We really actually learn by doing. We navigate and evolve our path when you're on the path. The car has to be moving in order for it to be steered, right? There's no point in saying, Jesus, take the wheel, but your car's in park. You get what I'm saying? Take it out of park, put it in gas, move forward. In other words, make a choice, choose something, and then the car can be steered in the direction that it needs to go. Does that make sense? Awesome. Hope this information was helpful for you. If you want to learn more, you can enroll in the healing course. I'll be adding some more courses to that over the next couple of weeks. The healing school, I mean, it has multiple courses involved there. And then you can get a free session with me if you're enrolled in healing school. And there's other benefits as well that aren't in front of me, but you can check them out on my website.